Good was good. Fake radio, fake radio. We here with a very special guest in person for the first time. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Oscar, aka OJ Mountain, aka the Knack Czar.
Okay.
The Trinket Titan. I don't know.
For real. We in his beautiful New York apartment right now. Bushwick. It's been a minute since I've been to Bushwick,
Yeah,
but
it's nice
nice.
out here, man.
No, for sure, for sure. Um, OJ, you've been mentioned many times. We've had many friends. BLA's finest right here. Um, so let's get you a rapper, producer, saxophone from New York. Let me just say, because this came out right after we did the first fake radio interview.
Oh yeah, COVID.
Yeah, the one at COVID. But your project Sloppy Optimism. It's crazy.
You like it?
No, it's fire. The opening song, like I played it for the artist manager Adamir and like my other friends, and the song came on with like, oh, is dope. Is dope. And Sammy Rosario, that's the dude who works at Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sammy's the man. He's cousins with Jordan.
Oh, they're cousins?
From BLA. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So that's how I got him to him at first, and then and like I worked. He was like the first person who like started mixing and producing for me basically, and yeah, he's just back then we just like worked, just us two, like
Gotcha.
really was on some homie shit, and then he kind of started really developing his skills and like
Yeah.
started working at studios, and his rate went like way up, and I was like, yeah, I'm super happy for him.
Right. Yeah. No.
He's doing his thing out there.
Yeah, I met him he was at a studio session. He was the engineer, and then he DM'd me like later. He was like, "How do you know Damage?" And I was like, "I live in LA, bro."
Yeah, I told the reason he knows Damage is because, for the Hidden Renaissance, well, like the fucking like the Hidden Renaissance offshoot tape that I did, EP that I did with Damage, and other people, I asked him to mix it, and then Damage liked him so much that she reached out to him to do it. So, yeah.
Cool. And then speaking that song, like or UGH.
Oh yeah.
That
I forgot about
was
that.
crazy. I love it with Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that before or after you joined Hidden Reinesance?
Oh, that was way before. That was
Got you.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a set date that I joined Hidden Renaissance. You don't really like. It's not really a thing where you like join and leave type of thing. It's more just like a you pop in, you pop out, and like people who I don't know. It's kind of more just like a.
Got you.
I don't really know how to describe it, but no, that was way before I even knew of it. It was just like. Yeah, I mean, I feel really separated from that project at this point. It's like it feels like a whole other.
Sloppy Optimism.
Yeah, that feels like a. I'm surprised you brought it up, honestly, because I haven't heard anyone else say that.
Nah,
Sloppy Optimism in a while, so
that's cool.
it's cool you still listening to that.
Yeah, for sure. And so then Hidden Renaissance, that's a Discord.
Yeah.
server that you joined in like 2022. You started.
I like knew of it. I like joined the Discord in like 2021.
Okay.
But I was kind of like I wasn't really active at all. It kind of intimidated me because it was such a big community, and then
Yeah.
I mean, it's been through a lot of shit, like twists and turns, and it's not exactly as vibrant as it used to be. It's kind of more now just a series of connections between people. But yeah, no, I mean, I have an album coming out with them on my birthday.
Oh, okay.
It's February.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And then that's how you know Damage. And then I ran into another one of your friends. This is Zale. Shout out Zale Cap. I ran into this dude Kojima Plus.
Oh, you met him?
Yeah, I was like familiar with him, and then he did a guest spot for I don't butcher the homie's name, but Conjust. And then I knew he was featured on the Zay album, and then Jaden introduced me, and then I like looked at his music, and I was like, oh, this got a OJ Mountain.
Yeah. No, I played some saxophone before.
Yeah.
I never met him in person, but
okay, yeah, close. He's all the homies are like really on his shit right now.
No, he's insane, dude.
No, he's
everything always just sounds so polished and professional, and like his visuals are on point. Like
no,
he knows what he's doing for sure. Shout out Kojima Plus.
Yeah. Shout out Kojima Plus. Word. So you just dropped the album recently. Wrong Notes played with Gusto. Tell me about that album. What was the concept? What was your headspace going? With that?
Well, it was I think it was a Rick Rubin quote, but I'm not sure exactly. But I remember like like hearing this quote, it's like the wrong notes played with gusto is better than the right notes played with conviction or something along those
Yeah.
lines. That just kind of stood out to me, and I was like,
Mhm.
how can I apply that to my own art? And I was right when I started kind of messing around with my own production.
Mhm.
So like, I was just like, I'm just gonna make a bunch of things and not worry about the outcome and just do it with like confidence and just see what comes out. So I just started making these like weird, like very minimalistic, uh, loop based beats that were just very simple, and then eventually it kind of led into this thing where I had a bunch of drafts that kind of were like it kind of was like gave like a stream of consciousness kind of randomness vibe to it, and then
Mhm.
it just turned into this thing where I felt conceptually they kind of went together, and that's definitely the project I'm most proud of because it came from like me in a way that other shit hadn't, just because I produced a lot of it myself.
Yeah.
And then Nora, my roommate, who graciously interrupted us at the beginning,
Yeah.
I got to mix it with all. I'm stuttering. I got he like we just like worked on the mix together the whole time, which
Got
is
you. Got
like
you. Got you.
super good because we could just I could really like nail in what sound I was
Uh-huh.
going for. Whereas before I was kind of just like emailing stems back and forth and just
Right. Right.
doing it all through online. But
Mhm.
yeah, so um yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And you're good with the like typography of like having like stars and shit in your like song titles.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I hadn't done that before that project, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make it look more edgy or like
Uh-huh.
more experimental in it. I
Absolutely.
don't know.
Absolutely. No, I like it. I have a homie in LA, Renzo Star. Shout out Renzo Star, but he has like the star next to his name. And I'm like, that's cool that you
Yeah,
have like, the
yeah.
star.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You also have the EP. Will it end as soon as it begin?
Mm.
What? So what inspired that EP?
Um,
What was your?
it was kind of inspired by my breakup, honestly.
Got you. Got you.
I had like a journal entry of like I was in college and I was just like I was in my bag about shit,
Yeah.
and I was just like doodling and shit, and I just kind of wrote that quote, just like I
Mm-hmm.
felt like it had been like a long relationship and then it
Yeah.
seemed to end. So like even though it'd been long, the ending
Right.
seemed like the relationship lasted like a millisecond. So it kind of was like
Got you.
this thing of like, will it end as soon as it I don't know, it's kind of like the time like the
Uh-huh.
time like the duration of time things had been transpiring in my head were like all out of whack, I felt like. So
Yeah.
and then yeah, like the song's all kind of just like sad, like reflective type shit of
Got you.
just, you know, heartbreak shit,
For
but
sure. For sure.
has more like
Yeah.
surrealism to it as
I
well.
like the song. I forget this. I think somewhere by the sea.
Mm.
And you're related to.
Yeah, it's my brother. Yeah,
Okay, that's your brother. Got
yeah,
you. Got you. Got you. Yeah. That song. That song.
yeah. I like that
What's the
song
story
too.
of that song with?
Um, I'd watched the Daniel Johnston documentary,
Mm-hmm.
and he had this peace noise. uh, yeah, the Daniel Johnston documentary. He had this quote about he met this girl. He was like a really troubled dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know who Daniel Johnston is, but
Yeah.
he was like obsessed with this woman in college, and she like rejected him, but um he kind of still thought about her like his whole life, and like
Yeah.
he kind of let that love of his like creatively inspire him through like all the rest of his career. And he had
Uh-huh.
this quote about like he's saying like when you once you even if you love something once or love someone once, like that love will stick with you at least certain like in an idea or like a spiritual sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn, like I'm kind of over this breakup for the most part, but like it made me want to channel that energy that I had from it
Yeah.
again because it's such a
Uh-huh.
powerful feeling.
Yeah.
So I kind of just wrote. I wasn't really rapping. I just kind of wrote like a little like singer ballady thing, and my brother plays guitar and he's big into folk music. I like folk music too, but
Got
he's
you.
like really into it.
Yeah.
So like we kind of just he got him to play guitar and kind of build up the theme of the song, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like it was a new thing, new style for me, but I really loved doing it. It was very freeing. I didn't have to like go down the same pathways that I usually go through in
Uh-huh.
creation, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Um, that's cool. And I noticed in that song, that project, and then Wrong Notes, so you're doing a lot more singing work.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to look at like rapping and as like this so like the core of my identity is like
Yeah.
this thing where every song has to be like showcased on like the best rapper
Uh-huh.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, everyone has heard music like that, and it's like it's just corny as fuck, like. And obviously, I was young, so I still had a lot of learning to do. But, um, I eventually I've grown out of that a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look at rap as like, well, the act of rapping is like an instrument I play. Like I play the
Mm-hmm.
sax, and I rap, and sometimes something calls for one thing, and sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, you shouldn't have to force it. So sometimes I just feel like singing. I'm not even that good of a singer, but it's just like if you do it, it's all about
It's
emotion,
all
like
good.
feeling.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no, it works.
Yeah.
And last time we talked was right before this happened, but uh, I would say your biggest influence, MF Doom, passed away. How that?
Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually in the studio with Sammy when I learned about it because it was on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Or day, I forget.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was definitely,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely affected me more than any other celebrity death had. Like I
Right.
remember, like celebrity deaths are kind of dumb. I thought that before that,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I never had a celebrity death that like actually someone I really cared about. Even if it was
Yeah.
someone I really looked up to, like David Bowie or something. It's not like I
Yeah.
don't have that same like emotional
Right.
tug, but no, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely sucked for like a week or so, but
Yeah.
life goes on.
For sure. For
But
sure.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, Doom is yeah. I mean, I'll always love Doom.
No, for sure. For sure. And then so you also play the saxophone. You do a lot of saxophone. Play saxophone for a lot of people. You did saxophone for the homie OE who did the rap battle with. Okay, that's funny.
Uh, yeah, no, I did on the track. I've done a couple shows with him too.
Word. That's fun. I think the last time I've seen him was probably around the same time I last seen you
Dude,
guys.
he slept right there like 2 days ago.
Oh, Owen,
Yeah,
he stayed at your apartment.
yeah,
That's so funny.
like
I didn't.
literally like 2 days ago.
Yo, that's great. And y'all never met until
No, until what?
until the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Damn, that's
I know,
wild. I
right?
know it. I always like see like you guys posting each other. I'm always like, that's so funny because like that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he stayed here like when he was in New York. That's okay. I texted him and I was like, I'm gonna be in New York these days, and he
Yeah,
was
he
like,
knew you were coming. He was just like, yeah, he's coming right when I'm leaving. So.
yeah. Shout out OE though.
Yeah.
Shout out waiting list. I gotta interview him about my project stuff because I know all the features, all the.
If he was still here, we could have
conditions.
done the
We could have
second
done it. We
joint.
could have done a second battle. That's wild how my brain being like we got to do the OE versus O. I didn't even know that like him that well at the time. Like I met him and I was like, your rap name is OE. I know OS. We got to do it.
Dude, that was like I felt so awkward during that moment just because it was like
I did too.
it was just all online. I was in my like nasty like college room, just
No,
like
I know.
with a buzz cut.
Yeah, I was. It was like late at night, and then
Yeah.
like I had like a very clear vision of. Well, I knew I wanted to do it. One of the like first ideas I had when I wrote Fake Radio was like, I'm not gonna get like OE or O until we do the battle, and then when the pandemic happened, I was like, this sucks, but like now I can finally do it with
Yeah.
And I didn't even tell Owen that like I knew someone who went by a similar rap name at the time.
Yeah.
Because like I thought it would just be funny to like surprise him with that because he's a very like reactable person.
Okay. Yeah.
But then I just told him I was just like, hey, like we're gonna do like this.
And you like
he was
punched me in, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
then that happened, and then I had like questions lined up, and then you like signed off, and I was like, wait, we gotta do the questions still. But
Yeah.
no,
And it wasn't even a battle because we just like rap like verses that we
yeah,
like had
no,
about
yeah.
anything. And I remember like there was like a poll or something, and like everyone thought I had like fucking lost, and I was like,
No, there was okay. The
I
poll,
was like, no, dude.
no, the poll. I'm not gonna name names, but mad people who we know personally told you because I saw like multiple people who we
Told
went
me
to high
off.
school. No, not I don't know what the word is, but like multiple people we went to high school with voted for OE, and I was like, you do not know who OE is. You know who Oscar is. Like, why are you voting?
They're probably fucking
like
with me. I don't know.
they were fucking with you. I'm not. That was funny. I was
No,
like,
I don't give a shit. It was
yeah, no,
fun.
no, no, no.
No,
Long
it was
time ago.
not my best rap moment either.
No,
I
no,
was kind of
no.
all over the place that time.
But y'all met. Y'all clearly became cool because y'all did shows together. Y'all did the saxophone
Yeah.
thing. I'm gonna tap in with you soon. OE when we finally link. Um, Let me talk about samples real quick. You do a lot of obscure samples. You do a lot of samples of like people talking and stuff. How like do your producers? Do you like how do you kind of you look at old shows like what?
I mean, yeah, most of that
Mm,
is from me. I mean, in like the in like the abstract hip hop space, like
mm,
there's a lot of that anyway. Like producers will put little snippets. So sometimes
yeah,
it's other people, but I mean, it's like to get when I first started listening to Doom, that's what really inspired it at first, and I definitely went overboard with it. Like I would low-key just bite him. I would put like obviously not the same ones, but I would, I'd be putting cartoons in. I was like, oh
yeah,
shit, like minute and a half long fucking skits of like
mm-hmm,
old shit, old
yeah,
TV shows and stuff. But no, I think it's a cool like creative expression,
mm-hmm,
um, like adds context and just cinematic elements to shit.
yeah,
And it can really tie a concept together.
mm-hmm,
Like like on Wrong Notes with Augusto, I didn't really take things from other things, but
right,
I recited like diary entries I had,
yeah,
and it made it so that like a lot of these songs that didn't necessarily feel super connected felt a lot more cohesive and connected. So I think
mm-hmm,
it's like a good tool to tie things together. But like there's a lot of artists do similar things
uh-huh, yeah.
like that.
And I see you you perform live with like a live band,
Hmm.
right? Or do you live with any of them or?
No, I mean my band's
Uh-huh.
kind of up in the air right now,
Got you, got you, got
but
you.
Nori's played with me a few times.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Um, in New York, like the band culture's a little different, but
yeah. Uh-huh.
there's a lot of more moving pieces. Like people come and go more frequently.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, yeah, I mean, no, I've never lived with like a bandmate. It's like when I was in Philly or anything. I never lived with them, but
right, right, right.
yeah.
But how'd you get the? Because I know last time you said you were trying to get the band together. What? How'd you like find band members to?
In New York,
Yeah, in New York. Yeah.
just going to jams,
Mm,
honestly, and
got
just
you, got
mutual friends, and the jam scene out here is
you. Uh-huh.
incredible. Like every week, you can find a jam to go to every day of the week if you want
Amazing.
to.
Yeah.
There's a few I go to pretty regularly, but yeah, just kind
Cool,
of
cool.
showing up and showing face and just meeting people and
Mm-hmm.
connecting and word of mouth, asking people. But I had a solid group in
Mm-hmm.
New York when I first touched down, but
Mm-hmm.
then things happen and I'm kind of like in a stage where I'm trying to find like a group of players that I can mesh with long term. So
Got you, got you, got you.
yeah,
Got you.
it's always a process.
Yeah. And so you've been doing the music stuff in Boston, Philly, and New York. If you had to like rank all three cities.
um, I mean, I barely did any music things in Boston,
Uh-huh.
like because I moved out of there when I was 18.
Right. Yeah.
So um, like I'd probably rank that third, but not because I don't think it's cool or I just don't have experience there really. I did like
Mhm.
the show we saw each other in person there last,
Right.
like,
Right.
and that was like the last. I mean, I've done a couple other shows that I went up there
Yeah.
for, but I don't know the scene like that in Boston. So,
Got you.
um, Philly and New York are different. Like they each have pros and cons. Philly is like a lot smaller, but it's a lot more chill, I guess you could say. Like
Mm-hmm.
the house show scene in Philly is incredible. Like the Temple house show scene, the director house show scene, like I forget the town or like the college that I'm thinking of, but
Mm-hmm.
there's like like across in Jersey, like the house show scene out there is awesome.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist out here in New York as much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I guess I would rank Philly number one, not because I think it's objectively better than New York, but
Mm-hmm.
I just have a lot of nostalgia, and that's kind of where I like first started feeling like I was doing something right
Got you.
musically
Got you.
when I
Got you.
was in
Got you.
Philly and performing there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more opportunity like quantity wise out here in
Okay.
New York, just
Yeah.
because it's bigger and there's like more shit going on naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Philly's like if you get known in Philly, like word will spread a lot quicker than it will out here. I think just because
Got you.
people, the city of brotherly love. People there to
Yeah.
show love and
That's
shit.
cool.
People in New
That's
York
cool.
can kind of be. Everyone's overstimulated. There's a million things going on. Like you go on the
Yeah.
train and like you see a bunch of wild shit and you forget about the artist you just like talking to or
That's
whatever.
that's interesting.
But I
Yeah.
don't know. Like New York is still amazing in its own right.
Yeah.
You just meet anybody
Mm-hmm.
at any time,
Yeah.
really.
And you moved out here for like you said you needed a break from Philly, but you moved out here for music.
Yeah, partially. That was a big
Got you.
part
Got
of
you.
it.
Yeah.
I wanted like more opportunities and a wider scope of opportunities, but also like my brother lived out here. I had a bunch of
Right.
like close friends and best friends in the world lived out here.
Got
Some
you.
of which I live with now. So
Yeah. That's cool.
um
That's cool.
yeah.
Right. Right. And Back on the saxophone thing, you know, you might have touched on it last time, but so you learned the saxophone when you were a kid, right? That was,
Yeah.
And how many saxophones have you had like in the span?
How many saxophones have I had?
Yeah,
Um, let's see. I had like the first rental that you get in like band,
yeah,
so I guess you count that. Although the school probably owned that.
yeah.
And then I had this. My parents had this crazy friend who was like, that was a whole can of worms, but he basically went through like a phase where he like collected instruments, and he had like a whole. When I was a kid, he had this whole closet of instruments that he never used.
Yeah.
And there was like this dusty ass, crusty sax from like the 40s that he ended up giving to me, and I like had to like I got repaired and like revamped. So I had that for a while.
Yeah.
And then I had this like intermediate horn like made in China, but it was like kind of shitty, but it was like a big step up from my other one.
Yeah.
So that lasted me a couple years. I had my name engraved on it and shit.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I really liked that one. It looked really unique too. It had like this like Art Deco, um, kind of like lacquer on it and shit.
Yeah.
And then I guess four, because the one I have now is the last one I got. Which is like actual. It's like a Yamaha professional horn, which is the first professional horn I actually had. So
That's cool. That's cool.
it made me feel like a real sax player when I got that. You know.
No, bro. And it has a name.
uh, Dude, I think you fucking. I kind of go back and forth with it.
Yeah.
Because the dusty one is named Tori.
Right.
And then the Art Deco one is called Clementine.
Uh-huh.
But like, I'm kind of a bad parent because I don't know if I named the new one or not. I'll name it Lindsay after my girlfriend. How about that?
Where there we go. There we go. And do you do your own visuals?
like
Music videos?
I've only done one of my music videos.
Which one?
The Morning Aurora one.
Okay.
I didn't do the animation overlays. That was like
Yeah.
a friend of mine in Philly did that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I edited and shot that myself. But the other ones, no, I didn't do the other ones.
Cool. Right. And you work with a lot of people who I believe are from Hidden Renaissance, like Brown Buddha, BB Glock.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like how do you choose like people from Hidden Renaissance who you see on like each track? Because they're like all
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, I mean,
most
well,
part,
it depends because a lot of those songs that I have, well, like, so for the sometimes like, there's been periods of time where like the whole like kind of Renaissance community is making it one project.
Right.
So that during those periods, like beats are just getting sent out left and right, and sometimes you
Yeah.
make something that like doesn't get put on a project, but you just end up having and using. So
Yeah.
a lot of it is honestly the great thing about Renaissance is that unless you're go off you know unless you kind of just DM them separately and ask them for beats like explicitly, like at least back a couple years ago when this was happening more, like it was just you really just going off the sound of a beat, and you kind of at least for me, like oftentimes I forgot who had even made the beat after a while. Like I just had a bunch of like beats that came from that community that I was messing around with.
That's cool.
And then there've been times where I had beats that I knew were from someone that hit a Renaissance, but I forgot who it was, and I had to like source it back and like who made the shit, So yeah, I guess it's less about. I mean, you gotta get an ear like for whose beats are whose. But
And is it like a competitive space? Or you just can't really like vibe people on like
it can't. I mean, there's been competitions before, like
Yeah.
the hidden ones.
Yeah.
The track, like the hidden Renaissance biggest track. That was a competition. Like I submitted verses for that. Like that was when I first joined. And then the album Bossing Stay, which got fucking pulled from Spotify because Spotify is a bunch of corporatist goons.
That's why, because I was doing research. And
Yeah, no,
like,
they pulled the whole album, bro, and we
Oh,
worked on like that
damn.
shit for like over a year.
Right,
Like,
because I heard Damage was telling me about it when I had her on.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, oh, you guys like both are on here. And then I remember I listened to it and I fucked with it. But then like I was doing research on the plane here and I was like,
yeah,
wait, hold up.
I know it's like completely gone. Like,
Damn, okay, that's
basically they thought we were botting streams with and with no evidence and just
one of those.
I don't know why they thought that was some algorithmic failure or something.
No, it's anytime like
because I know like H wouldn't fucking bot streams like
no, for real. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, anytime like me and my artists get like playlisted and we see like an uptick in like listenership, like we always call Spotify to be like, Yo, just so you know, it's just
Yeah.
gotta make sure it does not happen. Cause
Yeah,
I've seen that happen to people, and it's been
I know.
not good. Yeah.
But for that one, that was a big competition. Like I think Damage discussed it in her episode. So, but
Yeah, but I think that was before it came out.
yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too. But
yeah,
yeah, but so it's definitely competitive now. It hasn't been one of those in a while. It's kind of like it's definitely not what it was in terms of like the Discord, but
yeah,
it's like I'm so grateful for what it is because
yeah,
it's connecting me with a lot of people and
yeah.
shit.
And you're still tapped in. How many like
Yeah,
members in total?
it's hard to say because there was like when I started like becoming when I started like becoming more involved in the community, like there
Yeah,
was like a group of original dudes that were kind of on their way out in terms of like their involvement
got
with the
you.
group.
Yeah.
Like guys like Deadpan or like Snick Foley or like
Okay.
like
I've heard of them.
they're sick. I mean, I don't really know them like that at all because they're
Yeah.
kind of before my time.
Right.
I've like crossed paths with them a little bit, but
Mm.
so like it's hard to say who's in it and who's not. It's not really like that. It's like more of like an idea rather than it is like a solidified group. I mean,
Mm.
to give you like a number, like uh the last public server we had like 500 people in it,
Okay.
but like
Okay.
half of those people were like fans, and then like
Right.
half of the people were random people that joined like 3 weeks ago that none of us knew, and then
Yeah.
a lot of the old people weren't in it, and then it's kind of like it's
Yeah.
gone through a
It's
lot of
complicated.
shades of
Yeah.
things. So
And are a lot of them in New York?
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of them
Okay.
are. I mean, they're all over the world, honestly.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
King Quad is he's in Jersey, but he's like the New York part of
Okay.
Jersey.
You've done songs with
Yeah,
him. Yeah.
well, not I haven't released any yet, but I have one on the Hidden Reinesance album with him.
Right. Okay. That's right. Yeah.
And then like Suave Dubois is out here.
Yeah.
Who else is out here? Human Bien is out here.
Okay.
Nate Cirque is out here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more. I just can't remember right now.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Now we gotta do the game.
Okay. I like games.
Choose for sure. Who do you who do you who do you want to collab with who you know personally who you've never worked with yet? And then who do you want to collab with who you don't know in person? It's like dream collab
Okay.
situation.
I'd say the person who I've met is a dude called Jesse the Tree. Shout out
Okay.
Jesse. I met him at the just at a chance at the Billy Wood show a couple weeks
Okay.
ago. But
Yeah.
he's this dude from Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
An incredible MC. Like he just I like rappers who like have good word choice and just kind of you know they don't rely on like gimmicks to like get their point across, whether it be like crazy effects on their vocals or like ridiculous sounding like overproduced beats. Like I appreciate that
Yeah.
style. It's not what I
Right.
prefer, and he just like fits that. He just fits the opposite of that really well. So
Right.
I'd love to work with him. I'm sure he would. I just have to like come up with the right demo and send his way.
Yeah.
And then you said like Dream.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with like Homeboy Sandman. I don't know if
Okay.
you know who that is, but he's
I've heard of
like
him,
similar to World. Like hip hop heads will know who he is. I think he's like
Yeah.
top 5 rappers alive right now.
Cool.
I've met him a couple times. My boy produces for him. Well, I don't know if he has anything out with him yet, but he's like he
Yeah.
will soon. But
Gotcha.
but yeah, that's what I'd say.
And who are like your favorite artists right now in the
Eh,
in the like in the game right now?
like rappers or just
Yeah, the rappers, anybody.
rappers. My favorite new people I've heard are these two dudes called Feek and Lungs.
Oh
Who like,
yeah.
dude, they're fucking
Yeah.
so raw. Like I
Yeah.
reached out to them and my
Yeah.
homie, my roommate Noah reached out to them and they didn't respond.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. Like I don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
people on their own type time and I
Yeah.
respect it. But it's a shame that they didn't respond because like they're so sick to me. Like
Yeah.
like yeah, they're just the flows they use are just out of this world. Like I just love everything they're doing.
Yeah.
I wish them nothing but the best. They're definitely. I think they're definitely one of some of my favorite rappers out right now for sure. And they're in New York as well. So
Word, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
You hit
Like,
the Lexa Gates.
No, maybe I don't think so
Okay.
though.
That's like my favorite rapper. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, Lexa Gates. Yeah. Also, I hear a lot of Mac Miller in here.
Do you?
Yeah.
I never like was super into Mac.
Yeah.
I don't think he's obviously super talented. I'm not
Yeah.
like hating on him or anything, but
Cool.
I listened to him when he first came out, and then I kind of stopped, and then
Got you.
I never got like super into him. I don't know. I think people
Yeah.
that like I don't know if it's toxic from my end, but like people who like really blow up in that like real mainstream way,
Uh-huh.
um, I just have a slight aversion towards that. It's not like warranted usually.
Uh-huh.
I think just because like I love hip hop so much and I love music so much, and I think a lot of people, again, this is like really sounding gonna sound really pretentious, and
Yeah.
I don't want to come across that way, but I just can't stand like casual hip hop fans, bro.
No, I feel that.
Like when people like, oh, what's your favorite rappers? And they're like Mac Miller, J. Cole.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't. Those
Yeah.
dudes are like extremely talented, but like
Right.
if J. Cole's in your top five ever, like you don't listen to hip hop. Like like
That's
I don't know
valid.
if that's
That's
controversial to say, but like
no, I
I just,
feel
and
it.
even if he is in your top five, like I want to hear your top five favorites. Like I don't. Everyone has the same top five, you
Yeah.
know, usually
That's
like all the
valid.
time, and
No.
so it's just like once they hear the same names over and over, it's like like, oh yeah, my favorite ice cream flavors are chocolate, vanilla, strawberry,
No.
like cookie dough. It's like, all right, but like what, you know, you like I want to hear you, like I want to hear you like putting pretzels in your
Yeah.
ice cream. Like put some potato
For
chips in
sure.
there, you know?
No, and
Like
like everybody, like I know some people who like I know like where they came from, and I know they really like J. Cole like that. Like,
that's fair, that's
and that's like
fine.
you know what I'm saying. Like,
You know, I don't have no hate towards people who like
yeah,
J. Cole.
yeah. But then there's like other people where it's like just like J. Cole, it's like that's just like what the first
Yeah,
thing that you listen to. That's not like I like especially in hip hop. Like, there's so much that you can just like dig
I know. And
deep
there's other
into. It's like
avenues of like of so many different niches that like
yeah,
hip hop kind of like nestles into.
mm-hmm,
But a lot of times it's not these people's fault because it's like not everyone's gonna like be passionate to the same level you are,
mm-hmm,
and also like the cool and weird hip hop isn't like marketed to the same extent that
yeah,
like J. Cole is. So obviously, if you're not looking for, it, you're not gonna that stuff isn't just gonna fall in your lap. So you can't really fault people
true,
too
true,
much.
true.
But
Yeah, is that a shared record collection? You know,
no, they're all mine.
oh,
Besides
they're all yours.
just
Cool.
the bottom on the bottom left, it's my roommates. But yeah, the
Gotcha.
rest of them are mine. Yeah,
Where?
I kind of it's like my shopping addiction
No,
for
for real.
real.
Not yeah. Um, where? Who are your favorite like jazz musicians too? Because
Ooh,
you do a lot of jazz.
yeah.
So,
I love Sonny Rollins.
mm-hmm.
He's like probably my favorite saxophone player.
Cool.
Joshua Redmond's incredible.
Cool, cool.
Uh, Bill Evans I like a lot. Obviously
Mm-hmm.
Coltrane. Patrick Bartley.
Yeah.
Um, Rio Fuku. I can never pronounce his fucking last name, but he's a Japanese
No, I
piano
know.
player. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Um, God, I'm somebody missing. I'm sure. Uh, can't remember right now. That's what I got for
You're
this.
right.
That's it.
Um, awesome. And what's next for OJ Mountain? What you got an album coming out in February?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do these two other projects that one of them I'm kind of doing like I want to do like a maximalist project and a minimalist project. So like the
I like that.
maximalist one, which is me, is gonna be like all live instruments, all live music, like no,
Got
yeah,
you.
everyone's playing an instrument, and I want to get like
Yeah.
contribution. God, bourbon. I want to get contributions from like as many people as I can in the scene that I fuck with.
Cool,
Like,
cool, cool.
I think that's gonna be really fun. Like make it really jazzy and really like bouncy and groovy.
Yeah.
And I want to do a I want to do like a minimalist project with all beats that I make myself that are just all. I want all the beats to be just one stem, like one, like nothing
Yeah.
else. Like with some
Right.
effects, maybe like the matted drums, but that's it.
Where? Right.
And just like put some fucking surrealist weird shit on it.
Cool, cool,
So
cool, cool.
that's kind of what I'm envisioning. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, bro. Like, what's next for me is like it
Yeah.
changes every day,
No, yeah, for sure,
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
it's a
But
constant
those are
battle
your like
figuring that out.
those are your plans
Yeah,
in the
and also just like
future.
you know figuring out who I am as a person.
For
Because
sure.
I feel like it's such a rush, especially at the age we're at. Like mid
Yeah.
20s. It's
Absolutely.
like we're in this. You're kind of stuck in this thing where like you're old enough to. I feel like society expects you to have shit figured out,
Uh-huh.
and you're kind of at the age where like like the norm is kind of or the expectation is for you to have more figured out than you do.
Yeah.
But then like you think about it, and like 5 years ago you're 20, and like oh
True.
shit, like
Yeah.
so it's like we're still really young, but we're like
Uh-huh.
old at the same time. So like
Yeah.
I don't know, I never know if I'm an unk yet type shit. Like
Yeah.
so
For
just
sure.
dealing with that and just being a human.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more important than
Yeah.
any other music shit. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and do you have a favorite song out right now?
Of mine or just in general?
Oh, of yours, yeah.
Of mine.
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. Not really. I fucking hate my music to be honest with
Damn.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, mm, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll let other people decide what their
Where,
favorite
where,
is, I guess.
where? I will say, my,
But yeah, what's your favorite song of mine?
I'm a, this might be a basic answer, I don't know, but that Snake Jazz song,
Yeah.
my roommates bump like play it
Really?
a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that song.
Like anytime like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna interview like Oscar, they're like, who's Oscar? I'm like the Snake Jazz guy. Like, oh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that song was like I made that like that was like one of the few times in my life I've actually had like a flow state while creating,
yeah,
which is like which is really cool.
right, yeah. All right, we back.
But
Yeah, but no, that's that. Tell me the story of that song, because I
Snake
saw,
Jazz?
yeah, because I saw on like TikTok or something. You like you use like ChatGPT for like
That was
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. I was
That
about
was
to say, I was
skit.
like,
Yeah, that was
there's
like my
no way that
cringy. That was my stupid content era.
there's
For
no
that.
way there's ChatGPT.
Mm-mm. That was during the creation of the Hidden Renaissance album that got
Yeah.
pulled.
Mm-hmm.
But um, yeah, we had like basically I hadn't been on a Hidden Renaissance release yet, so I was like really wanted to at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And for this competition, we had like each week, each team could like submit 4 songs. So
Gotcha.
my goal was to at least be on one submission every week for my team, if not more. So I
Mm-hmm.
was in the state of just like pumping shit out,
Yeah.
and like not a lot of it was trash, but a lot of it was dope.
Mm-hmm.
So I was home for Christmas actually. It was probably around this time of year, probably.
Gotcha.
Um, and so I just brought my mic. Like I don't usually bring my mic back with me to like
Mm-hmm.
Boston because I'm not usually there for too long. But
Yeah.
I was like I didn't want to take a single day off this time because I just wanted to like didn't want to miss a week. So
Mm-hmm.
I brought it. So I just brought my mic and my interface and my sax, and I was in my
Yeah.
parents' basement like late at night trying to make something. And I was kind of all wired from just like the holidays, and I was kind of in a weird headspace.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was Buddha had sent through that beat, and I was like, this is pretty like gnarly shit. Like it's all fast,
Uh-huh.
and it reminded me of like a double time like jazz swing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, it'd be cool to kind of come up with some sort of chromatic lick to kind of put over this. So I was kind of humming to myself, and I like sang the horn line that's on there. I
Mm-hmm.
sang at first, and if you listen to it like the final version, like I'm still singing it, but
Right.
I played the sax over the like I played it on
Yeah.
the horn as well, but I was like it sounded so cool when I sing it too. I was like I'm gonna keep it both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then I laid that down. And I was like kept playing it a million times over, like
Mm-hmm.
looping it before I even wrote anything because I was like this is fucking different. Like
Yeah.
um I can't listen to that song now just because of like how it is like just after it's finally out and you make a million TikToks for it and you just
Right.
like hear it a million times, you're like tired of it. But at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I was like, this is like the coolest shit I ever made in my life.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
Um, and then it was so fast, I had to like do like a different kind of flow on it. And I was listening to a drill at the time, and I was like,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of sick to like um do some sort of drill flow on this,
Mm-hmm.
like not as a meme, but just kind of just be fun and kind of be funny, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but I usually like write in that style really,
Mm-hmm.
like at least rhythmically.
Yeah.
So I like listened to fucking I listened to some Pop Smoke and I listened to like this one Pete and Boz song. I don't know if
Okay.
you know those people, like the old
Those are the old white
grandpas, the
guys
British
from. Yeah, I
grandpas,
know who
bro.
they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like the goofy, but they can really their flows are insane. So like
Yeah.
I listened to that and like the first couple lines of that is like direct like it's just their flow. Like the first
Right.
couple lines of that is literally just like their
That's
flow.
fine. Yeah.
And then I switched up that as it went, but yeah, and then I sent it off, and everyone was like, "Holy shit! Like this is the demo, but like if this doesn't make the project, like they're
Yeah.
tripping type shit."
Mm-hmm.
And then so Dan the Damage loved it, so she hopped on it,
Yeah.
and then Lano hopped on it within that week, and then it didn't make it somehow. I don't know why, but
Mm-hmm.
the whole server voted on it, and on the would make the cut, and I guess just
Word.
it is what it is. But then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we dropped. I had to drop it anyway, of
Yeah.
course, and now it's my biggest song. So
There we go. There we
that's
go.
the story of that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, Yeah. And how did you find the like? You saw it on Instagram or something?
No, I was in college and I watched this
Uh-huh.
video by who was it? It might have been Jesse Cannon, which damn it just personal friends with that
Okay.
I met
Cool,
at her
cool.
show actually. Shout out Jesse.
There we go.
But he made this video about like finding community just as an
Yeah.
artist
Uh-huh.
and like ways to organize it and keep track of it. And one of the
Yeah.
things he said was to make a like a spreadsheet of just called community, and he
Mm-hmm.
wrote in every blogger you found you had in a blog column, every like person you met in person that you thought was noteworthy or that could you could do something with, write down like anyone that you made a connection with, just organize it so that if you need something or you need help with something, you can just go
Mm-hmm.
reference that.
Right.
So one of the things he was saying was, go on Reddit and look through people on Reddit, what they're talking about, whether it be like
Mm-hmm.
a artist you fuck with, like they're the artist subreddits, or just anything like like hip hop Reddit or anything really. Just like
Mm-hmm.
so, I was just like lonely in college. I was lonely a lot of the time, and
Mm-hmm.
so like I had a lot of time to do shit on my own. Really,
Yeah.
I'm a pretty introverted person by nature. So
Mm-hmm.
one night I just kind of went to like the computer lab at my campus, and I was like, all right, like I'm just gonna browse Reddit and try to add to this document or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I went on the Earl Sweatshirt subreddit, and there was this dude who was like, "Yo, like we're a hip hop community. If you think we're big and inspired by like Doom and Earl and um Billy Woods and all these people. Like obviously I know like now I know that there's like a huge you know niche fan base for that,
Mm-hmm.
but at the time I
Yeah.
was like." I never really heard people
Nah.
talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
on the internet, especially like
Yeah.
people forget that like even in 2020, like obviously Doom was way more underground in like 2005 than he was in
Right.
2020. But
Yeah.
it's really in the past like 2 years, especially since he died, that like Doom is like everywhere, and like
True. True.
there's
True.
like
Yeah.
Doom fucking like the diner at fucking what festival was that? Fuck. Coachella?
Oh,
Oh
the
no. Oh no, it's
the
Flogna.
vlog now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they just had like that's
That
awesome.
doing
Like
that.
I love
Yeah.
that for the
Uh-huh.
culture and for Doom's legacy. But like
Yeah.
that was not a thing even in 2020. Like a lot of people didn't know who Doom was in 2020. Like
Bro.
again, a lot of people did obviously knew who he was, but
Uh-huh.
not in the same way. So like
Not the
I
same.
was like, holy shit, like this is sick. I want to be involved in this.
Yeah.
Um, so I sent him Frosted Flakes because that was my only songs out at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and and he liked it,
Mm-hmm.
and he invited me, and that's yeah. So it was really just
There we
like
go.
a chance, like Reddit encounter that I discovered
That's
it.
cool. That's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. No, you were texting because I remember when I first started like posting myself at like that good shit shows.
hmm
You like hit me up like, oh, I fuck with them. Like,
yeah. I mean, I learned through that. I learned through all that
ah,
shit
you
through
got
that
you got you got you
through
got
Hidden Renaissance. Cause
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, that might just learn through TikTok because I saw the main girl Annabelle
yeah,
talking about like West Side Gun, and I was like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like West Side Gun.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
exact
Yeah,
same.
and it's like a white girl talking about West Side Gun. She like
Exactly.
picked
I'm
out.
like, yeah. I'm like, okay, now I should. And then it's funny that when I first moved to LA, her first show was like 2 weeks later, and I didn't know anyone. And I was like, let me just go see what
Yeah,
this is about. And then that transformed into something big, and I'm
yeah,
so
that's
cool.
dope.
A lot. The headliner is Snow Xavier, who works with Damage, who's been on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
channel. So yeah, it's full
that's
circle.
fire.
Yeah. Um. Word. Uh. Last question. Do you have any tips on like lyricism, writing? Do you freestyle
Yeah, I
a little
mean,
bit?
I don't, I hate like freestyling. It's like on command. Like but
Yeah.
I like, I feel like I definitely do sometimes.
Cool. 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 Cool.
I no, I don't know what I'm saying. I freestyle,
Yeah.
but
Word.
like,
But how do you? Because you have a lot of creative rhymes. What's like?
yeah,
What's
I
the
mean, I think
method with that?
everyone, I think writing is just freestyling, just slowed down.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Um, some dudes like some rappers like freestyle is like a big like the main part. Like I know people who are better freestylers than they are writers, and it's like
Yeah.
their craft.
Mhm.
And they freestyling is like a big way that they write. Like they
Yeah.
freestyle first, and
Mhm.
then for me, like, what was your question? Like, do I have any tips or?
Yeah. Like, what's your like method behind like writing and? 'Cause you have a lot of obscure
Yeah, I mean,
rhymes.
it's like recently it's been a little different, but like I think just I like taking things out of their original context. Like I used to try to like write everything to like tailor made specifically to go over the beat I was working on.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times that can be fun and like is what you should do to like really fit the pocket. But um, especially after like the Wrong with Gusto thing tape, like
Yeah.
I'm big into now just like writing just for sake of writing, whether it
Mhm.
be to no beat or just to a beat you like, a popular beat, or just anything really,
Yeah.
or like any rhythm or anything. And then when you hear something, when you're in a position where you're ready to like lay down something, or lay down words to a piece of music, it's like I just go through things that I've written and see like it's less about it's less about first when I'm picking what I'm gonna put on a song. It's less about the rhythm of it as it is just like what I'm saying and like does this fit the mood of what I'm going for? And then once I decide on something, then I'll go back and edit and like figure out and like subtract or add words to make it flow better.
Yeah.
But I think like it all depends what you want to go for. Like my approach to what makes me interested in writing and hip hop is just songwriting in general is um putting things in a unique saying things in a unique way
Yeah.
and saying things like how you would say them.
Mhm.
You know, I hate when people feel the need to say things on a track in a way that they don't in real life. You
Yeah.
know, and it's a lot easier said than done for a lot of because especially if you have like a diet of listening where you listen to you listen to things that you don't say,
Yeah.
you might feel forced to say the same things. But um, the shit I fuck with the most is like when you can tell that only they could have wrote that, and only they could kind of put forward the perspective that they have. So that's kind of our approach I take to everything now. And I'm not scared to sound. I used to be scared to sound stupid or
Yeah.
like people think it's weird, but now I like that's the only thing that keeps me going.
No,
Like
for real.
I know I'm like a
That's
goofy
actually
person,
fair.
and like I feel like I'm not showing that as much in this interview just because I'm like it's like a formal setting.
No,
But
yeah,
like
yeah, but
people who know me, like I just like say the weirdest shit, and it's like I'm weird. I'm nerdy about weird things. And, like,
yeah.
I want to let that shine through, and I guess my tip is like just let that through. You know,
think
kind of like
that's
we
it,
are
yeah.
talking about before when I was like, um, people giving the same top five, like, and you know, people I said like people just you know have the same five. It's like people having the same five ice cream flavors.
Yeah.
Like I want to hear I don't I know you like vanilla ice cream with chocolate
Right.
ice cream. Like I want to know what you put in it. Like I know you have it. Like everyone's unique. Like that's the beauty of it. Everyone has something about themselves that like they might be would rather hide and I don't I think the natural instinct is to kind of let that go to the background and in favor of like a more traditional or more or something that they think will make them seem cool or like seem
Yeah.
of value. And for me it's I find value in the opposite. Like I want to hear about your weird perspectives. I want to hear about, you know, the way you look at issues and what you collect and what you movies you like to watch and like I want to hear you reference those things, you know, and that just makes your art more unique in
Yeah.
general. Outside of hip hop and music, it's like if you're a painter, like it's almost like if you have this really amazing unique life and all you paint is just like still life of fruit, you know.
Yeah.
It's like why don't you give the fruit like a weird face or you have a weird portrait of your mother that you know you put your mother's face on the or what you
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like shit like that. Like I think that's like the biggest tip for any artist is from my perspective. But then again, it's like I don't. Am I even in a position where I should be giving advice to artists? It's like, you got it comes within you. Like I
No,
don't know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Like you've been rapping since we were in high school, so you
yeah,
definitely
that's true.
have been doing it a long time. You've been
Yeah,
successful at it, so you definitely are in a position
yeah,
to be giving advice to the younger
yeah,
generation.
for sure.
Well, thank you for coming through.
Of course,
Thank you
man.
for letting me into your home to do
Yeah,
this special episode. DJ Rack Skills, OJ Mountain, New York Minute. Shout out Jimmy K Feds and the Squeak Squad. Uh, Free Palestine,
facts.
obviously, and
Free Luigi.
Free Luigi too, for sure. Free Luigi as well. And yeah, we're gonna be out of here.